The federal government funding of the construction of the multi-purpose 186.1 million cubic meters.
President Buhari inaugurates water project in Zaria, restates commitment to Greater Nigeria.
In the course of next year, it's possible that Africa could be certified polio-free.
Nigeria on the verge of being declared polio-free by World Health Organization following significant progress made in the eradication of polio.
Within the shortest possible time, we are going to change the narrative about security in Nigeria together.
Ministers swing into action few hours after the inauguration. And in sports, Nigeria wins first gold medal at the ongoing 2019 Africa Games in Morocco. Good evening and a warm welcome to Network News at 9 on Africa's largest TV network, NTA. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Abuja, Nigeria. And also reading with me tonight from Sokoto is Asma'u Habibu Shagari, and Chinoye Wonye is reading from Enugu. Now we begin Network News tonight with the inauguration of a water project in Zaria as a multi-billion naira regional water supply expansion project has been inaugurated in Zaria towards addressing the perennial water shortage in the ancient city and its environs. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, urged the beneficiaries to jealously guard the facility and pay their bills promptly so that the project can be maintained. State House correspondent Adamu Samba reports that the president also visited Zozo, where he restated his commitment to a greater Nigeria.
Conceived to solve the acute water supply problem in Zaria and environs, which persisted for over 2 decades, the regional water supply expansion project was jointly funded by the federal and Kaduna state governments, Islamic as well as African development banks. It consists the construction of multi-purpose Galma Dam, treatment plan, transmission and service reservoirs, rehabilitation and extension of distribution network, as well as network extension to other local government areas.
The federal government funding of the construction of the multi-purpose 186.1 million cubic meters Galma Dam as a contribution to this project underlines our firm resolve to continue to put in place policies and execute projects that will change the narratives for Nigerians. This is why, in spite of lean resources, we committed the sum of 11.8 billion naira towards this dam and so to its completion.
President Muhammadu Buhari commended the Kaduna state government for demonstrating appreciable commitment to the development of the state by committing about 25 billion naira towards ensuring the completion of the project, which was in a state of limbo for years. He also appreciated the multilateral partners for their significant contributions to the life-changing project.
We are hopeful that this partnership will continue as we seek to reach out to other communities, cities and states in Nigeria to provide water facilities and other essential services. Water infrastructure investments such as this one will serve for decades, but only if they are well managed and well maintained.
We are providing meters, and there is also a framework for social metering. For those that are too poor to afford water, there is a subsidy system so that the poorest people will still have access to clean water. This is consistent with the manifesto of the APC and what we've always preached to us to ensure that in everything we do, social justice must take precedence over everything else.
President Buhari had earlier paid homage on the Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, at his palace. Emir Shehu Idris was full of gratitude to the Nigerian leader for what he called his ceaseless efforts in handling security matters and other national issues with all seriousness. He is particularly happy with the ongoing work on the dualization of Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano road.
I implore you, Your Excellency, to continue with your good work in tackling the problem of poverty, fight against persistent armed banditry, kidnappings, cattle rustling, and other unbecoming social vices facing this country.
When our Father, His Highness, said, the people of Zaria love and support you, it is a fact, and it is shown in the results of the last election.
President Muhammadu Buhari said he cannot thank the people of Kaduna State and Zaria in particular enough for their trust and confidence in his leadership, which he said will never be in vain.
Kaduna and Kano are the only two states I give two substantive positions in my council. So I have thrown it back at you that I have appreciated your votes and I have paid you back by giving you environment and finance.
The visit to Zaria City was the first by President Muhammadu Buhari since coming to power. Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still in Zaria, President Muhammadu Buhari also inaugurated the newly completed Postgraduate Center of Excellence at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, constructed and donated to the school by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The president said the construction of the project was a testimony to his administration's effort at supporting qualitative learning from primary through to tertiary level. We'll bring you details of this report in our subsequent in the course of this news belt. Now, Nigeria is making significant progress towards the eradication of polio in the country, and August 21 makes it exactly 3 years the country has not recorded any incidences of wild poliovirus. This is the feeler coming from the 96th meeting of the annual conference and council this Thursday in Abuja, which is seen that as a signal that the nation will be certified polio-free by the World Health Organization. Other news is that the country's GDP continues to move upwards. Over now to State House correspondent Jide Onifade for details of these and other deliberations at the council's meeting.
The Minister of Health and other officials of the ministry briefed the council on the progress made so far on polio eradication in the country. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki briefed the press on this presentation.
The minister identified some challenges as follows. The lack of release of counterpart funds by the local government chairman is one of the key problems in achieving successful routine immunization. He also identified the issue of insecurity in some parts of the country, particularly in the Northeast. He advocated the release of funds by states and local governments for immunization campaigns.
The council receives update from its ad hoc committee on security and policing that the Inspector General of Police has initiated the commencement of community policing and that there is a plan to consider using NPOWER beneficiaries and youth corps members as police officers in their local government areas. Here again is the Edo State Governor on the presentation by the Nigerian Stock Exchange titled Financing the Next Level, Alternative and Innovative Long-Term Financing for Nigerian Critical National Infrastructure.
That the capital market offers innovative financing solutions to deal with Nigeria's 100 billion infrastructural challenge. That solving Nigeria's infrastructural challenges remain the panacea for actualizing the country's full economic potential.
Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, briefs the press on the report presented by NEXT Committee on Export Promotion.
That the other achievement on the zero oil plan to date includes non-oil exports, excluding natural gas, have risen from $1.17 billion in 2016 to $3.16 billion in 2018, meaning that strategic sectors identified in the zero oil plan have seen growth.
As at 20th of August, the Stabilization Fund account, which has at the same date a balance of 21,729 million naira. And the Natural Resource Development Fund has a balance of 95,896 million naira.
The council directed the constitution of a team of Governors Forum, the Central Bank, and the Ministry of Finance to finalize modalities for the commencement of the repayment of loans by state to the Central Bank.
As at today, the budget facility that has been advanced by the federal government to the states is in the total sum of 614 billion naira. And this is to 35 states. This means an equivalent of 175 billion naira per state. The ministry also highlighted some of the successes of the administration, as in attaining macroeconomic stability, which has been achieved, and we're looking at a possibility of the GDP for the third quarter of 2019 to be 3.01%.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And as Nigeria counts down to being certified polio-free nation, communal engagement through extensive public enlightenment on health benefits of immunization has been recommended as a way of realizing this. This is one of the recommendations of frontline healthcare providers of the European Union to support immunization governance in Nigeria project at a seminar in Abuja. Elizabeth Mori reports.
Statistics by the Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey show that 2,300 babies die every day due to lack of access to immunization vaccines. This alarming figure, frontline health caregivers believe, can be reduced through proper education and human capacity development. As efforts gear up to certify Nigeria polio-free and save infants between 0 to 5 years from dying, the European Union has trained 73,111 health workers under the EU Prime Initiative and constructed standard state-level cold stores for vaccines in 17 focal states.
200 million since 2002. So this is investing directly in the most valuable that we have in our society, namely our youth and our children, and making sure that they have the opportunities that they need.
To this end, sustaining these efforts by the European Union for 17 years, Nigerian health workers say requires an effective integrated approach and assistance from states and local governments.
If EU sign is not in your state as a specific state, what they do at the national trickles down to other states that don't have any contribution there. Yeah.
Over the next 6 months, we will go through a rigorous process, and hopefully in the course of next year, it's possible that Africa could be certified polio-free.
It's the community ownership of it that gives hope that there will be a continuum at the end of this dissemination.
The medical practitioners at the forum are expected to come up with more recommendations that will contribute to the reduction of child deaths. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
We turn our attention now to the judiciary, where the Presidential Election Petition Court has dismissed the petition of the Hope Democratic Party and its candidate Ambrose Oworu. In a unanimous judgment, the 5-man petition court led by Justice Mohammed Garba gave the verdict. Dele Atumbi reports.
The Hope Democratic Party and its candidate Ambrose Oworu in its petition claimed that in a referendum election conducted on February 16, 2019, the candidate of the party polled 50 million votes. It is on this premise that the petitioners approached the Presidential Election Petition Court asking it to declare the candidate of the party, Ambrose Oworu, as president. In proving their case, the petitioners called one witness who admitted that he voted in the February 23 presidential election, where INEC declared and retained President Muhammadu Buhari as president for second term. The Presidential Election Petition Court pointed out that sections 131, 132 and 133 of the 1999 Constitution provide for the guidelines for the election of the president and vice president of the country. On the issue of alleged referendum conducted on February 16, 2019, the court also cited the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended to further buttress its position that the conduct of referendum to determine the occupants of the office of the president and the vice president is unknown to the Constitution of Nigeria. The court is of the view that the Independent National Electoral Commission is the only body constitutionally empowered to conduct election to the office of the president and that of the vice president. The court also submitted that INEC has the power to fix the date for an election and postpone same in line with Section 26 of the Electoral Act. The claimed referendum, the court maintained, was subversive to the electoral process. In dismissing the petition, the court held, in addition, that the petition was a pre-election matter of which it has no jurisdiction to entertain. The Presidential Election Petition Court also ruled that the petition was an abuse of court process, as same application is pending before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja.
Referendum for election into the office of president or governor in this country at all.
However, the Presidential Election Petition Court has another petition before it filed by the PDP. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says it will investigate and prosecute all individuals and organizations involved in the process that led to the $9 billion court award against Nigeria over an unexecuted gas contract. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, stated this while laying a roadmap for the nation's justice ministry in the next 4 years. Femi Okeowo has the report.
Taking over the administration of the Justice Ministry, which he had handed down to the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Mr. Dayo Akpata, on the 28th of May this year, the reappointed Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, said for the government to succeed in this tenure, the efficacy of the nation's laws must be made a priority. One of the first steps government is to take in that area is to visit the weight of the law of the country on those who, in his words, caused the embarrassment of the $9 billion arbitral award against Nigeria in a gas contract which, he said, was never executed since 20 years after it was initiated.
We therefore cannot afford to fail on account of lawless acts of the corrupt and unpatriotic few who always drive pleasure in seeing us fail as a nation. The law must work. It must speak its firm language of justice at all times.
The Minister of Justice said government's cardinal programs in the fight against corruption and insecurity, all of which have legal components, will be intensified. Solicitor General of the Federation, Dayo Akpata, and other heads of parastatals in the Federal Ministry of Justice all spoke about the various justice sector contributions which will enhance the nation's development. The summation of the submission of the Minister of Justice is that in this next tenure, the law in Nigeria must be made to work, and this is to affect all facets of our nationhood. From the Federal Ministry of Justice, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
You're watching Network News at 9. We'll take a break, and when we return, we have more news, so stay with us.
Wakapa, follow! Kitty. Oh, baby. He doesn't want overripe things. Dudu by nature. Black is beautiful. Oh, talk to the hand. The baby is black. Ask her. Uche, quickly send me the baby video.
Okay, ma.
Yeah, he's playing. Oh my goodness. He's loving it. Oh, thank you. Welcome. Bye.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your number one 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Tell you what, when will the new meters come? Because we are tired of estimated billing. Good news, my people. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has come up with the new meter asset provider regulations called the MAP. Nigeria MAP.
It is to ensure provision of meters, eliminate estimated billing, and ensure electricity customers only pay for energy they consume.
Yes.
Just go to your local electricity distribution center and request for your new meters.
Because the new meter is reliable and cheaper tariffs.
This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Igboro na sharp guy, Igboro na wise guy, Igboro they code everybody, Igboro they feel funky. Igboro na smart guy, anywhere he they go he they shine eye. Igboro no they slack oh, Igboro is very connected. Igboro they judge everybody, and they know they trust anybody. Igboro they look everybody like say them be suspect. Nobody wanna trust nobody, but everybody.
Don't be like him. Free your mind with Airtel Smart Talk and enjoy calls to all networks at a flat rate of 11 kobo per second. 7 naira fee on the first call of the day applies. Dial *315# to join.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Congratulations, Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amechi, as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your track record in the railway subsector speaks volume. In the last 4 years under your able leadership, the railway in Nigeria has witnessed tremendous transformation and change. With your reappointment, the rail subsector will surely move to the next level. Once again, congratulations, Honorable Minister. Announcer, stakeholders in the railway subsector.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol sure. Daddy is home. He must be germ-free. He needs to be Dettol sure. My clothes are so nice. We are Dettol sure.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol sure.
We are Dettol sure.
His Royal Highness, the Emir of Gondu, Major General Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, CFR MNI, on behalf of the family of Al-Hajj Muhammad Saad Abu Bakr, CFR MNI, the Sultan of Sokoto, cordially invite the pleasure of friends and well-wishers to the wedding party of Fatima Abu Bakr and Mahmoud Abdullah Yuguda, which will take place at Sultan Bello Jumat Mosque, Sokoto. Date, Saturday, 21st August 2019. Time, 12 p.m. Announcer, Local Organizing Committee.
Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you're watching Network News on NTA. We're broadcasting live from our studios here in Abuja. Earlier on, we told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the newly completed Postgraduate Center of Excellence at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and it was donated to the school by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Liakatung Babatunde now tells us more on this.
This magnificent infrastructure is sitting on an area that is more than 34,000 square meters. It is one of the 3 already established centers of excellence by the Central Bank of Nigeria, situated in Zaria. Ibadan, and Enugu. At more than 7 billion naira to erect a structure like this, postgraduate education in finance-related courses has come at a better time for Nigeria, and President Muhammadu Buhari is telling Nigerians that more investment will be put in place for education to take its center place to meet the population's demand of better education, better society, and better development for Nigeria.
We are committed and determined to continue to fund our vital institutions, even in the face of limited financial resources. In line with this renewed commitment, during the past 4 years, we invested close to 1.3 trillion naira towards the development of our educational sector. This amount does not include funds spent on overheads and personal costs. Access to quality education in tertiary institutions will enable young Nigerians to make meaningful contributions towards the development of our nation, irrespective of birth, income status, religion, or ethnicity.
Governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, says the Apex Bank will be doing much more in a couple of years for medical sciences to reduce the cost of medical treatment abroad.
Education and health form the bedrock of any country's development. Now that we have sowed seed in the area of education, the CBN intends, we plan to build first diagnostic centers. Like you know, diagnostics is also the bedrock of medicine. We are building diagnostic centers in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, together with one, that's the 7th one, in the National Hospital in Abuja. The one in Abuja would also have heart center as well as cancer center.
It's not really for massification of education. It is actually for enhancing the quality of the education.
Now, 6 more facilities just like this are going to spring up in the coming years across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. For the university community, maintenance is key to ensure that the structure meets the desired impact it was made to Ghana for the Nigerian public and for the good of the nation. From the Ahmadu Bello University Center of Excellence in Samaru, Zaria, I am Liakatun Babatunde, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is working with stakeholders to address ethical issues in the application of science and technology in the country. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Bitrus Nabusu, said this at the opening of a 2-day stakeholders meeting for the harmonization of the National Bioethics Committee framework and policy document. The meeting, which is being held at the instance of a National Biotechnology and Development Agency and UNESCO, is meant to address ethical issues emerging from advances in science and technology. Justin Bem-Unye reports.
With the rapidly changing environment, coupled with the advancement of technology and scientific innovations, experts are of the view that man's activities must take into cognizance the application of these new technologies of great potential. This is to ensure that they are safe and environmentally friendly and socially sustainable. And this is where the intervention of bioethics in the society, scientific innovations and societal concerns becomes imperative. The need to reflect on the moral dimension and advances in science and technology has in many areas of the world led to the establishment of various forms of bioethics committees.
Life sciences, information and communication, migration, to mention a few, are all factors that affect human life, which are more and more being considered as integral part of bioethics.
The National Bioethics Committee is neither a committee to compete with the already established National Health Research Ethics Committee, nor is it a committee to take over functions of existing ethics committees.
The committee, when formed, will act as an advisory body to the president and policymakers. And this is the basic essence for the establishment of the National Bioethics Committee. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, has assured services in the Ministry of Interior of the requisite leadership to ensure that they play their part in achieving the federal government's objective in the next level agenda. He was speaking at a familiarization visit to some key services under the ministry. Victor Azu has the report.
Following his announcement as new Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola had proceeded immediately to his new place of assignment to assume duty. Afterwards, here he is on a familiarization visit to key services in the ministry. His first port of call is the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, where he arrives to a guard of honor and then introduction. A few banters here and there. This was followed by a tour of facilities. At a meeting with officers and men, he tells of his plan to strengthen the service's capacity for intelligence gathering.
Within the shortest possible time, we are going to change the narrative about security in Nigeria together.
Next stop is the Nigeria Immigration Service, where he also gets to see available facilities during which he interacts with Nigerians at the passport office. He then proceeds to meet with senior officers of the service, assuring them of the necessary leadership for improved service delivery and border security.
I promise you leadership. Leadership to support you, to achieve what you have said to do, and improve.
The minister's familiarization tour continues. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Pauline Talon, said life-changing programs have been designed to alleviate the plight of women and the vulnerable in the country. Mrs. Talon disclosed this when members of the Coalition for the Inclusion of Women in Governance paid a courtesy call to the ministry in Abuja. Elizabeth Amori has details.
Globally, the role of women in development cannot be ignored, hence the need to protect and prioritize their needs. As the number of women in politics increases, women groups like the Coalition for the Inclusion of Women in Politics are strategizing and making efforts to alleviate the plight of women. Their visit to the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development is to call for more support in educating women and girls, eradicate trafficking and modern slavery, tackle unemployment, reduce maternal mortality, and promote women engagement in politics. The minister, however, assured the women group that the ministry, under the watch of President Muhammadu Buhari, will continue to promote the cause of women and make life more meaningful for them across the Federation. Members of the group, however, promised to work with the ministry in fostering peace, unity, and development of Nigerian women as they contribute their quota to economic growth. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News. Thank you.
The federal government has flagged off the voluntary repatriation of more than 60,000 Nigerian refugees in Cameroon with the airlift of the first batch of 135 refugees who are indigenes of Adamawa State back to Yola, the state capital. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, supervised the repatriation of the first batch at the Marouk Saleh International Airport in far north region of Cameroon in her first official assignment as minister. The Nigerian Army under the Operation Lafia Dole has repelled an attack on Gubio Magomeri Market in Borno State last Wednesday. In a statement by the Deputy Director Army Public Relations, Colonel Ado Isa, 7th Division, the planned attack was targeted at troops deployed in the area to gain access into the market and loot food items and logistics. Consequently, the terrorists were overpowered and forced to withdraw. Colonel Ado, however, stated that contrary to unverified reports making rounds on social media, there were no casualties on the security force apart from a vigilante who sadly lost his life in a crossfire. The Nigerian Army called on all Nigerians to continue to support security agents in their efforts to maintain the order. The Nigeria delegation to the 2019 Edinburgh Royal Military Tattoo has sustained its excellent performance since the event got underway to the admiration of their spectators. Anthony Forson in Edinburgh spoke to some officials of the Nigerian team ahead of the next outing, which will be dedicated to Nigeria.
Nigeria has consistently received applause and cheers since the event got underway about a month ago. A combination of 120 military personnel from the Gas Brigade alongside a 30-member cultural troupe made up the team. Lieutenant Colonel Mukhtar Sani Daroda is leader of the military team, while Abiodun Abe is the artistic director.
Nothing short of spectacular. We are privileged to be part of the team that has represented Nigeria very well in this particular event, which is a celebration of international military bands.
We are looking at something that will show, the unity in spite of our diversity, and we look at, that cultural tool that is flamboyant, and we agree that marriage should do it for us. And with marriage, we are able to tell the world that yes, we are a nation of diverse culture, but in spite of that diversity, there's unity.
From Edinburgh, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now, it's no longer news that the agricultural produce in Nigeria suffers setback in the international market owing largely to shortfall in meeting global food standards. Mitigating these setbacks require utilization of contemporary farming system, and this is the target of the Nigerian-German Agribusiness Forum initiated by the Nigerian Incentives-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending. On Anigie Fine-Face reports.
It is an established fact that Nigeria has huge opportunities in agriculture with abundance of land, water, population and markets. Turning all these into tangible benefits, however, remains a challenge. The Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, NIRSA, is resolved to translate these opportunities into profitable business ventures through interventions in equipment, technology, financing, and human capital development towards the practice of agric as business and not just as a culture.
This is a business. Another benefit that will come, almost all the equipment that will come will be operated by Nigerians. Training will happen. We have thousands, millions of young graduates. All these are designed for them to enter into agriculture in a modern way.
And it will not only stop here. We're looking at months, not years, for us to realize the ultimate objective of this event.
Already, a consortium of more than 100 companies under the German Agribusiness Alliance is in Nigeria to work out frameworks of understanding with NIRSAL.
Our aim is to support NIRSAL, to support the Nigerian farmers in bringing up the technology, in bringing up the yield per hectare, and finally, in the second, third stage, to export food. We also want to bring European standards in the food production.
And one of the reasons why we're invited here is to be able to see in concrete terms what the commitment with the government establishments are doing, so that smallholder farmers like me can leverage on it and see opportunities and see how I can make myself grow.
The forum will be followed by in-country demonstration of the technologies, evaluation of their values and trainings for Nigerians to manage them on arrival. In Abuja, Onengiye Fine-Face, NTA News.
Developing responsible and hard-working family unit is a necessary recipe for achieving qualitative citizenship. This was the focus on guests on NTA's current affairs program, Moments for Thought.
We must get parents to take responsibility for their children, for their wards. Attitudinal problems, has become a biggest threat, to the development of the youth.
Moment for Thought comes up tonight at 11:30 p.m. on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. You're still watching Network News. We'll take another break. When we come back, we have more, so stay with us.
Now me I go ask and say, why all of us go pay 100,000 naira? Say your husband, he want do 70th birthday. She now all of us marry them together. When her mama die, she collects money. Her papa die, she collects money. Her mama die, she collect. You remember when she talk, say she wanted her mama dead body.
Mama, you too talk.
Now you be glad when they dash me credit anyhow. Imagine 40-year-old dead body. Why you dey laugh now? Now try to bring your money.
Mama, no laugh.
Not be you, Jare. Now some apropos customer there when they know they mind their own business. Whoa, I never even begin to give you her gist.
Glow and Maple. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555*PIN#.
Make I sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Yeah, Mom, you are extraordinary. You always go the extra mile to make sure my breakfast is made with extra nutritious Milo. I want to say a big thank you. You are extra precious and extra super.
Milo is thanking moms for being extraordinary by giving the family an extra 50 grams of delicious Milo for every 500-gram pouch bought. Don't miss out. Offer valid while stocks last.
Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem Soft Gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Oh my God! Oh! The opponent is down only in round 1!
Ayua, Amatem Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thank you for being there. Now, let's talk some finance and business. The Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, has shared a total of 769.523 billion naira to the 3 tiers of government for the month of July. And of course, Chimaobi Walter is here, of course, to give us a breakdown of that figure and all that has happened in the world of business today.
Yes,
Chimaobi, it's good to see you.
Good to see
of course,
you,
I know a lot of people are itching to get a breakdown of the figure. So if you would go ahead and just break it down.
Of course, thank you very much, Rhoda. Good evening and welcome to the business news. The 769.523 billion naira comprised revenue from value-added tax, exchange gain, and gross statutory revenue. The committee announced that at 22nd August 2019, the balance in the excess crude account was $274.407 million. The gross statutory revenue for the month of July 2019 was 674.365 billion naira. Now, this is higher than the 652.949 billion naira received in the previous month. Consequently, the federal government received 299.799 billion naira, while states received 190.381 billion naira, and the local government councils received 143.569 billion naira. Meanwhile, with over 47 million registered micro, small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, relevant agencies are harmonizing standards to ensure the Nigerian market is not proliferated with substandard goods from importing countries due to Nigeria becoming a signatory to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The harmonization, which is expected to create a level playing ground for small players in the market, and avoid issues of dumping will strengthen Nigeria's manufacturing sector.
University chairs the standard harmonization for West Africa and some critical committee at African regional level. Over 150 standards, particularly agro products and food, processed food, are harmonized within West Africa in particular. So whether the product comes from Cote d'Ivoire or come from Ghana, since we have harmonized the standard, we are operating on the same standard.
So, Rhoda, those are some of the stories that we are tracking at this moment on the business desk.
Thank you so much. It will be good to know that a lot is being done about the free trade agreement. And of course, as you said, it's going to be good for Nigeria.
Obviously.
Run along.
Thank you.
Now, towards instituting global best practices in Nigerian ports, the NPA Board of Directors have embarked on an oversight to the Onne Seaport to get acquainted with challenges that frustrate effective service delivery. Now, bad access roads, security concerns, obsolete communication infrastructure were top on issues highlighted. The Babari Weke reports on the meeting with industry stakeholders held at the Federal Lighter Terminal Onne, River State.
The board members, while interacting with industry players at the Nigerian Port Authority Onne, River State, underscored the need for effective service delivery at the ports based on international best practices. Chairman NPA Board of Directors Emmanuel Lajide Adesoye noted that the board is poised to ensure that NPA is elevated to a higher pedestal and positioned as the hub for maritime business in the country.
Your welfare is our welfare. If you are prosperous, NPA will be prosperous, Nigeria will be prosperous, and individual Nigerians will be prosperous.
Representative of the Managing Director of Nigerian Port Authority, Hadiza Bala Hassan, says shippers deserve excellent services at the ports as critical contributors to the growth of the economy.
And we shall continue to work assiduously in ensuring that we meet up our obligation in creating a customer-friendly environment for all of you.
Among issues raised by stakeholders to be addressed include, not but limited to poor access road leading to the ports, insecurity, as well as cargo and tariff deals.
There's no process in place to checkmate the securities that's telling us you can be kidnapped, nothing happens. We don't have road for heavy equipment to go.
In Onne, River State, Diba Barisi Edmaweke, NTA News.
We're still watching Network News. We have more reports now from our Sokoto Network Center, where we have Asmau standing by with stories making the rounds over there. Asmau, it's over to you.
Thank you, Rhoda. Good evening and a warm welcome to Sokoto. For Africa to overcome her challenges and achieve sustainable development, contributions of Nigeria is said to be imperative. These were the submissions of speakers at a lecture to honor the 74th President of United Nations General Assembly in Sokoto. Musa Abubakar reports.
As a homecoming for Professor Tijjani Muhammad Bande, the 74th President of the United Nations General Assembly. And there's no other way to celebrate his coming than with a forum like this, organized by the Association of Political Science Students, Usmanu Danfodio University, Sokoto. The platform provided avenue for intellectuals to review the position and re-emergence of Nigeria as a major actor in Africa's affairs.
Murtala Mohammed led the push by the African Union, OAU, to suggest that the most urgent need at that time was the total decolonization of Africa.
The relative economic strength of the member states.
The University of Reckoning, and you students should count yourselves lucky to be associated with this university, and you also must do your bit to help build Nigeria and build the continent by being good citizens and good human beings.
For Usmanu Danfodio University community, Professor Tijjani Muhammad Bande is a shining light whose contribution will help the country achieve new feat amongst community of nations. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Negative perceptions and attitudes of Nigerians constitute major obstacle to societal development. These were the views of experts at a one-day sensitization program on the fight against corruption organized by the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption and National Orientation Agency, Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Datti completes the report.
The theme for the sensitization program is value orientation and fight against corruption. The idea is to enlighten the public on the negative impact of corruption in the society.
So if we want to provide services for our people, then we must eliminate corruption. Otherwise, we'll never ever get it right. Because in a situation where the resources of the country will be taken over by a few, then there will be inequality, there will be poor infrastructure, then there will never be stability, there will never be progress, there will never be peace.
The two anti-corrupt agencies, EFCC and ICPC, maintain that corruption has become cankerworm and had eaten deep in the fabrics of the society. Sultan of Sokoto, represented by District Head of Durbawa, Muaz Durbawa, commended the President's zeal of fighting corruption, calling for support from all and sundry. On its part, Sokoto State Government called for attitudinal change among public and government officials.
A huge number of people in the country will be involved in corruption, and the agencies that are statutorily established to fight corruption will have limited capacity to investigate all, to prosecute all, and to also deter all.
Participants stressed the need for Nigerians to imbibe the habit of rendering efficient service in all sectors of the society. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. Enugu Network Center is next on Network News. Good evening.
Thank you, Asmau. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. 34 Artillery Brigade Nigerian Army Owerri has emerged the overall winner of this year's Inter-Brigade Combat Proficiency Competition organized for commands under the 82 Division Nigerian Army. Enugu State Governor, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, implored the participants to uphold professionalism in discharge of their duties. Jude Abugu has the details.
The week-long activity, which came to a climax with the presentation of prizes to the participating brigades, saw the contingent competing in sporting and combat activities such as swimming, weapon handling, shooting, and map reading. The annual event, which is designed to sustain combat readiness of troops, was a keen contest as the final result showed that 3 brigades were tied in the second position with equal number of points. This led to another round of competition as the second and third place winners had to emerge through a weapon dismantling and coupling contest. The state governor commended the military for organizing such competition.
It's through this training that our men and officers are better equipped, their knowledge is updated with respect to military intelligence.
The general officer commanding 82 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Abubakar Michael B, assured the guests that the division will continue with such trainings and competitions to better equip the officers and men of the Nigerian Army with skills and knowledge. The participants also expressed their readiness to replicate the experience in their various commands. These participants say they are returning to their bases, reinvigorated and combat ready. From Abakpa Cantonment, Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Wife of Enugu State Governor Mrs. Monica Ugwanyi has enjoined Nigerians to pray fervently for peace, unity and security in the country. She gave the advice at the Enugu Women's Prayer Rally held at Michael Okpara Square. Susan Eze reports.
The monthly prayer meeting is for Enugu women to lift up their families, state, and the nation to God in prayer. Mrs. Ugwanyi reminded them that the holiday season calls for greater commitment to the role of parenting. The children, she said, must be monitored and guided to make the best out of the long holiday. Mrs. Ugwanyi advised that skill acquisition is one good way of keeping the children positively engaged.
make sure they learn one skill.
The meeting was also an opportunity to educate the women on health and other matters of interest. Other features such as raffle draws, presentation of gifts, and prizes to participating local government areas, among other events, all added up to make the outing interesting and colorful.
In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. It's back to Rhoda in Abuja for more on Network News.
Sinead, thank you so much. Now, Chinazum Nwosu wins Nigeria's first gold medal at the ongoing 2019 Africa Games in Morocco. Kenema Abudike is here with this and other story in our sports update.